Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Breakdown with Bethany. I'm Bethany Braun Silva, and today my guest is Amri Kibbler. Amri is the co-founder and CCO of HeyMama, which is a networking community for mothers, and it's been around for the past 10 years, which is an incredible feat. I'm a proud member of HeyMama, and the community has served me so well, both professionally and personally. And I'm going to be part of their upcoming event, Strong Like a Mama, which is happening in New York at the end of July. So take a listen to this episode where Amory's going to talk about running a business, and especially a business like HeyMama, which is so community driven. We're going to be talking about the event and Amory's diagnosis with colorectal cancer and how she navigated parenting in the process. So take a listen. I have been a member of HeyMama for I think 2 years now, but I have known about it and it's sort of always been on my radar, I think since it first launched back 10 years ago now, right? And it is such a groundbreaking sort of community, and really just, I know a lot of women have really leaned on it, for personal reasons, professional reasons. Um, and you are the co-founder and CCO. So can you take us back to that time when this might have been kind of like an idea, and how from idea to inception, and then of course, without, going through the whole history of it, like something big just happened recently. Like, so take us through like the really like highlights of it, but I'm also very curious to know about those beginning days too.
Okay, I will tell you about the beginning days, but I'm actually going to kind of start at
Yeah.
current place because I think this is like a great example of what Hey Mama is about. So last night we had an amazing event. It was really beautiful. It was at Serpentine Jewels in Greenwich. And so there were four like incredibly accomplished women. They were super well dressed on this panel. And it was really interesting because three of the women, and this is not what the conversation was about, we were talking about their businesses, and it came up that three of them had actually downshifted their careers because they felt like with the cost of childcare and everything that was going on, it didn't make sense for them to be working. I mean, these are women like Kat can cook, the founder of Serpentine Jewelry, the founder of Dudley Stevens. So you look at them and you're like, wow, what she's accomplished, and she's driving this incredibly successful business. But at a certain point, she completely had to take a pause from her career. At a point, she had to make this compromise. And then the other woman, who's a longevity expert and a doctor, was also talking about many of the biases that she faced, where she worked overtime and she was doing telehealth so that she could see more people, and making all of these different adjustments because of some of the biases and the things that she was addressing in her career. And so I think it's just really important that we have a space as moms who are doing all these things and facing these ideas about ourselves and these biases and other things that are going out in the world, where we can come together and know that everyone that is there in this space understands all the things that we've been doing. They understand that before 9 a.m., we may have made multiple lunches and breakfast. We may have already gone for a bike ride, diffused, a tantrum, like all of these things happen. And so it's a space where you can feel like yourself and be honest about the challenges that you're facing, but also the exciting things. And the other women that are there are also very excited. We all want to see each other succeed because we have this collective sense of that it can be really challenging. So we want to be real, but we also want to be optimistic, and we want to support each other. So that's really why we exist. And yeah, when I started Hey Mama with my co-founder back in 2014, I had been working in corporate. I was an editor at Hearst and Condé Nast. I had an amazing dream career where I, was styling and picking out all the clothes for editors and doing shopping pages and going to the shows and traveling and all of these things. But I just felt like something was missing for me. I wasn't really quite being seen in the space that I was in, and I wasn't really developing these kinds of relationships that I felt were important to me with other mothers. And so I set out to create my own community in this space. And really from the very first day, hopped into it like I was, we were driving a full-fledged business. We were very serious about the hours that we set and the way that we went about operating and, getting our company set up and all of the different things that we did. But ultimately, it was really a passion for me in bringing women together and just seeing what a difference that can make in every part of their life, and in the ways that it can accelerate their business through finding funding or a co-founder or someone to interview them or someone to be on their podcast. And, all of these different pieces are a big part of what makes Hey Mama such a unique community where members tell me all the time, it just feels so different to them than other groups that they're in, because there is that sense as a mom that when you see someone else struggling, another mom, you want to help her. You want to be like, hey, here's what I learned. Here's the AI tool that I'm using. Here's the marketing tips that I use that help me to get past this. Or like red flag, hey, this thing happened to me. Watch out. We don't want that to happen to you too.
I love that. And about how many members are in Hey Mama currently?
Yeah, so we talk about our community as we have our larger community of people who are like subscribers to our newsletter and digesting our content and all of that. So there's about 75,000 of those. And then of our paying members, there's around 2,000.
That is so incredible. And I will say, as a member, and also other things that I heard before I was a member, it does feel like an incredibly different community in that it is very supportive and very nurturing as well. Like really truly like a safe place. And I would love to hear, I mean, because it is, even though it is a community and it has a mission and really good goodwill driving it. But it is a business, and you guys had a really big business moment this year. Are you allowed to talk about that?
Oh, yes, definitely. We did. We've had a really big business moment this year. So Hey Mama was acquired in March. And interestingly, just a couple of days ago, I read this stat that really had me wowed. And I'm glad that I read it after we were acquired, that only 1% of businesses that are acquired have female founders. And again, I was just wowed by how difficult it can be to accomplish a lot of these things, as a mom and as a female founder. So it's been really exciting for us. And, it's been something that we've been working towards for a number of years. Our incredible CEO, Erica Hannafin-Feldes, who joined the company, has been, leading the business since 2021. Really helped to bring this deal together. And we have so many exciting things that we're working on for the rest of 2024 that she and I have been planning out for the last few years and are now really able to bring to fruition. We just launched a new platform this week. So that is incredibly exciting with lots of great new features. So we're just onboarding all of our members this week, and we'll be continuing to roll out new features throughout the year. We have a lineup of different things that are going to be happening every month. So it's very exciting.
Let's talk about an upcoming event, Strong Like a Mama. I want to talk about that event because it's sort of like your big tentpole event of the year. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, so we actually have 4 tentpole events of the year, but this is one of them. It's one of my favorite things that we do. It's our summer health and wellness series. It's a mini summit. And it's really where we speak to the 360 of mom. And we know that to get moms to take time for ourselves, I say we almost have to trick them. We have to be like, come, we're going to have 2 educational panels. You're going to learn so much. And you are. And we're going to have a workout. And we're also going to have some mindfulness sessions. And then we're going to have pampering. We're doing mini facials with Borghese is going to be there. We have some other incredible partners. We're going to be working with Splits 59. to do a gifting suite, but really it's like you're going to have a full moment where you'll have intentional networking, you'll get to connect with other members, you'll get some pampering, education, and all of these things. So like you have to check at least 3 things off the list as a busy mom, right? To be able to put something into your schedule.
That's so true. We need like a multitasking event, right? We know even when we're taking care of ourselves, it has to be on several different levels. Another thing that I also love about Hey Mama, and we sort of talked about this when we were discussing the business. So you guys aren't all like not just like talking the talk, but you're walking the walk. You guys are business owners, you're moms, you're out there in the space. How important has it been for you to kind of mirror like your members, or how are you, or rather like I know you're moms, you're working moms, you own this business, but I think what I'm also like, how do you gauge like sort of like the temperature of like what mothers in your community are feeling or going through or things like that?
Ooh, well, largely, and I think this is a big part. I'm going to answer a different question first. I went to another event last night. It was a virtual event about breaking the glass ceiling and what women really need right now. And we all shared something that we do to support women. And, you know, there were a lot of the things that you think of, like introductions or saying a woman's name in a room. And I was like, you know what, actually, one of the most powerful things that we can do is really be an active listener, and give mom the space to share what she's going through, what she wants and what she needs. And a lot of times she'll really be able to work it out. So we spend a lot of time listening to the things that our members are posting in our Connect platform, and then also in conversation with them and hearing what it is that they're saying out there. So it's, and also we definitely, as you said, mirroring, go through a lot of the same things all the way back to the beginning of Hey Mama when we were starting this company. It was, you know, I was trying to figure out how are we going to get our website set up? Like what were our first marketing channels going to be? Then we went into the fundraising process, and our members have really been along on that journey with us all the way, as we've been sharing the things that we've been learning as we're going through it, and then asking our members to actively share those resources and their own experiences from those things as well.
I love that. Also, let's switch gears a little bit. I know that health is an incredibly important topic to you. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm a type 1 diabetic. So I sort of deal with chronic illness. I have been for the last, oh my gosh, I don't know, 23 years now. And so it, of course, informed my experience as a mother and taking care of myself and all of that. But you had an experience with cancer that I know you're open and really like willing and wanting to talk about. So take us through, what that was like and how it sort of, I want to, of course it changed your parenting, right? We know that, but like kind of like the profound impact that a disease or navigating a disease, like overcoming the disease has, and, as you're also, it's so challenging, being a mom. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. And so I'm a colorectal cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in December of 2020. And it has had a profound impact on every part of my life. Like many cancer survivors, I think of it as like before cancer and after. And cancer treatment is no joke. It was a, very difficult time in my life. I actually had 2 diagnoses. I had a recurrence about a year and a half ago. So I had 2 surgeries then. So it's been very up and down, like this. But it's also, I think, just changed me in so many ways and given me such perspective on a multitude of different things. I keep a notebook on my desk with like the lessons that I've learned open all the time to look at whenever I find myself getting into a place where I'm very stressed out and overwhelmed by things. I'm like, okay, but look at all the things that you have been through and what you've accomplished and how different I am than I was 4 years ago. In full honesty, 4 years ago, I was a very anxious person. I was working around the clock just because I was prioritizing my role as a business leader above my personal health, above everything else. And I was incredibly burnt out as well. So going through cancer, I've had to learn a lot of stress coping mechanisms and different ways to work, ways to, change up my schedule, reset my energy, and all of those things. And it's actually gotten me into a place where I am able to be more productive with my time and with my energy. But also just to feel happier and less anxious, which seems crazy because you think that I would be worrying about my cancer coming back or any of those things. But it's allowed me to get to a place where I actually don't worry about my cancer coming back unless it's like a time when I'm going for a scan. And of course, that day I'm really nervous. I feel like I'm doing everything I can to be healthy and to take care of myself. And, there's really nothing else I can do. So it's not, it's not helpful for my time and energy to be worrying about that. But yeah, I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was 4 years ago. Did you ask me something else?
Well, yeah, I'm interested because I go through this with my kids on a daily basis. If I'm giving an injection or changing like a pump site, like they're and I also know that I've seen them internalize some of my health like stress. I mean, so I'm wondering also with the girls, like how did you talk to them? If you're and only if you're comfortable sharing, like what was it like managing their emotions and their feelings watching their mom go through something like that?
Oh, yes, definitely. It was interesting. It was very different with both of my girls. They have very different personalities. My older daughter had what I would have expected to kind of be a like quote unquote normal reaction. She is like very responsible and diligent. She's on the high honor roll. And she became very clingy and wanted to be around me and worried and all those things, which made sense to me given the circumstances. Whereas my younger daughter had a completely opposite reaction. She became very angry and really mean to me as she was working through things. And it was hard at the time. I didn't realize that that in and of itself is a coping mechanism and a way to deal in a stage when she couldn't really manage her own emotions. On a regular basis for things like, somebody pushed me on the bus. Like, imagine some monumental thing. Like, she can't even understand what's happening. All she understands is that the attention's not on her anymore. All of a sudden, everybody's just worried about mommy. She's just screaming at me, like, you're not really sick. Why is everybody paying attention to you? I stubbed my toe, or whatever it was that it happened. And it just created this really crazy kind of energy environment going on where I was exhausted and felt like I couldn't deal with anything. She was angry. She felt neglected. She just felt like unbalanced and unsure. It wasn't a safe place for her anymore. She was so used to me being her rock and dependable parent that was always there for her and could make her feel better. And all of a sudden, I couldn't really make her feel better, and she was really scared. Um, and so it was really hard. I don't think that she ever really fully understand. And if I ask her about it now, she'll be like, "You had cancer?" Like I think she's also blocked a lot of that out, and I'm still in a space of like trying to talk her through these things. And I think she'll probably even be a little bit older before she understands what really has gone on. It's very scary. And it's hard for kids to understand, as you're saying, like you're doing your injections or I'm like all of the medications and things that I'm taking. And, sometimes I forget to take something and she's like, why do we have to go home and get your medicine? It's definitely hard. It really is. It's hard every day to be a mom with any kind of chronic illness and deal with their different reactions because it's not one size fits all. And whereas some kids can absorb and roll with it, other kids have a much harder time processing.
Absolutely. And I give you so much credit for that because I mean, as I said, we know it's just like on a good day, it's hard. So navigating with like a chronic illness or a cancer diagnosis is especially hard. And I would love to know because we have obviously a lot of moms watch this and listen to this. And I always like to ask, like, what would you tell a mother who might be going through a scary health time, either a cancer diagnosis or managing something long term, and now having to deal with the kids' feelings and emotions on top of it. Now that you kind of, I don't want to say completely like have removed or on the other side, but what would you tell a mom going through something like that?
Yeah, now that I have a very long list of things that I've learned that I really wish someone had shared with me before I started on this journey. And I think this is really the best advice that I give to moms for anything is self-compassion. Because self-compassion is really hard for moms. We're really hard on ourselves. And it's going to be messy and it's going to be hard. And you really have to give yourself a break and the time and space that you would give to someone else going through the situation. Pretend like you're not yourself, you're someone else, and think, okay, how would I talk to this person if they're dealing with a chronic illness, if they're dealing with something difficult? And give yourself that compassion and that space to not be perfect.
Oh, I love that. I feel like I need to listen to that, what you just said. Like I have to have it like on like a voice note, like just play it like every.
We all need it every day. I have it on my notepad, and I'm like, when I'm giving myself a hard time, I'm like, give yourself a break. Because if you were someone else, I would give them a break. I'm like, oh, don't worry. I can see that you're having a really hard time. Why don't you take 15 minutes to go over there and do some breathing or center yourself and then come back to the situation, which is not what we tell ourselves. We tell our friends those things.
Right. Oh my goodness. So yes, thank you so much for that. And I kind of want to pivot a little bit back to Hey Mama as a business, because to be in any business for 10 years is such a huge accomplishment. And then to see like kind of the arc of the business and having sold it this year, raising two daughters in the process, I know there's been some, changes at the top level and things like that, new members, old members, like all of it. Do you have like kind of like, are you able to take a step back at all? Kind of like we were discussing with, raising kids and having a cancer diagnosis. Are you able to kind of take a step back and like see like this 10-year arch of business and babies and all the women that you've impacted?
I would say now I am. I think as I've practiced a lot of self-compassion with myself, I used to really just be focused on, okay, what's the next goal that I have to meet? What's the next goal that I have to meet? And I would blow past something and not even stop to celebrate it. I mean, now every day I start my day with mentally thinking of like 10 things that I'm grateful for and appreciating whatever it is that's been accomplished that day, that week, that month, that year. And a lot of these things are not giant things that you would celebrate, but the little things are as important as the big things. I think the little things are like celebrating wins with our team are as important as, okay, wow, we got our new platform built and up and launched in 2.5 months. Like that's a huge thing to celebrate. All of those things every day are important.
Absolutely. I think it's if maybe even more important to celebrate those little wins, right? Because we do tend to pass them by. And then I also want to, if someone who's watching or listening to this or heard from a girlfriend, another mom friend, I'm in this community and they're kind of like, I don't know if it's right for me. I'm not necessarily in business, and I don't like to meet new people. I don't know, for whatever reason. Well, but like I'm, because I think a lot of women feel like that. It's scary to kind of jump into community, right? Like, you know, but it is so beneficial. I'm a strong advocate for communities and mentorship and all of that. And so what would you want to tell somebody who's maybe like on the fence of like joining or not joining? Like, why should they join Hey Mama?
I just think for me that having real authentic relationships in your life is the biggest factor in fulfillment, satisfaction, and success. It's the biggest driver for success of your business is knowing the right people, having the right connections, having that support. I mean, I think I read some crazy thing like 25% of businesses fail just because they don't have the right network and the right connections. It's all of those things. And I don't know anyone that doesn't like to have people around them that care about their success.
Absolutely. And it's been so beneficial to me. And Amory, this has been such a lovely conversation. I've just really thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you better, because I find you so inspirational. Like every time we talk, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like another thing. I'm already so in awe of everything that you've built and how beautifully you've impacted like this large community of mothers. That's certainly what I hope to do with this podcast, with my writing, with my work, is really sort of like mother driven. So I'm in such awe of you and everything you've created. And I mean, if there's anything else you wanted to like plug or anything like that, like we could do that now, or we could just, you know.
Well, I want to say I can't wait to have you as a speaker at our Strong Like a Mom event. It'll be another great time to see us together and have us collaborate and have you up on the stage there, bringing your beautiful and insightful voice to conversations as a part of our mission. So I personally can't wait for that. If you want to join us, mamas, it's July 25th in New York City. And it's going to be fantastic. It's at Daylight Studios on 17th Street in Manhattan.
I can't wait. This will definitely be going live. We're gonna promote it, and I'm so excited. I feel like so grateful to be part of that event and just part of this community. So thank you so much.
Well, we're so happy to have you and so grateful to you for being such an active member and supporter of Hey Mama and our mission and all the mamas.